Oh, yeah. This is Brian Campbell of the 5 Rounds MMA podcast on ESPN.com. Join me and Brett Okamoto this week as we talk to UFC heavyweight Travis Browne on his February 19th return and life in the public eye with Ronda Rousey, plus an interview with Matt Brown. Don't miss it.
Difficulties we had, but we are ready to go. See, Max likes that. Coming up.
They can cheer for her.
Yeah.
Oh, not when we got a show to do.
Let's
get it on.
Okay.
Let's get it on.
Okay. Because we got a lot of big guests coming up for you all. You know that. Coming up, 3 NFL players joining us: T.J. Ward of the Broncos, Tyrann Mathieu of the Arizona Cardinals, and Larry Fitzgerald, and 2 big-time rappers repping the ATL. We have T.I. Tip will be joining us. That'll be fun. And, of course, your brother from another mother,
That's right.
Ludacris, will be in the house. Give it up, guys. And we're going to get into it right now. So Madden predicted how the game would play out in their simulator. Let's take a look.
All eyes on number 12, getting them back into Falcon territory and looking to make NFL history. Here we go. This is it. The game comes down to this. Hunts, looks, in zone, and Edelman caught it. It's a touchdown. New England wins it.
That's exactly why, Brandon, when that drive started, I had no doubt in my mind that Tom Brady would finish this game off the way that he did.
So, Madden has the Patriots winning in a thriller, gentlemen. Now, it's important to note the last time the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, Madden accurately predicted the Patriots to win at the exact same score, 28-24.
Yeah.
Max, who you got?
I used to do a segment on my radio show called The Pro, the Game, the Kid, and the Psychic. I had a professional gambler, like an 8-year-old boy, a psychic, and Madden simulation. All pick a game. Right throughout the season. Madden always won in a landslide because your Xbox is more powerful than the NASA supercomputer from 20 years ago, right? And Madden is, we all know what that is. They get it right. So, yeah, Madden got it right again. The difference in this game is that while the Falcons have the edge in offense, the Falcons' offense versus the Patriots' defense, that gap is not as wide as the Patriots' offense versus the Falcons' defense. Then you add Belichick and Brady and all the experience, the Patriots in a high-scoring game.
Stephen A., on that note, before you jump in, I want to mention that odds makers have this being the highest-scoring Super Bowl ever, with the over-under set at 60 points.
Well, I think they're over-under at 60 points, probably so. I think it's going to be more than 60 points scored in this game. I've thought about this long and hard, and I literally did not decide who I was going to pick until around 10 minutes before the show. It's been that close to me because I look at the Atlanta Falcons. Excuse me, everybody. My voice is a little jacked up, but I'm feeling fine. Just like my voice is jacked up. But I will say this. The Atlanta Falcons are no joke. They've got the talent. I look at a guy like Deion Jones, got 165 return yards, 3 interceptions on this year. He makes things happen. Plus, I look at some of these guys that they've got in their secondary. I look at their defense in terms of Vic Beasley and the ageless Dwight Freeney, along with other guys. Their ability to get to Tom Brady is going to be a pivotal thing in this game. But in the end, here's what really, really resonates with me. Tom Brady, at 39 years of age, in his 7th Super Bowl, going up against an Atlanta Falcons team who started 8 guys on their defense, aged 24 or less. I mean, I'm just thinking about it from the standpoint, not that many, I'm sorry, but they had a few guys 24 or less, a couple of guys 27 years of age. You don't even have guys, Dwight Freeney is the only guy on their defense with 4+ years of experience. I think that Atlanta's going to put up some points. But I think that ultimately the game is going to be put in Tom Brady's hands at a pivotal moment. And at 39 years of age, against that young secondary. I'm not questioning their talent at all. I'm just saying their youth. You're going to find yourself in a situation where there's a holding penalty or unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness. There's going to be something. You cannot tell me in a game of this magnitude with that level of youth that youth is not going to slip up at some point.
Well, so you're saying the youth is a disadvantage in terms of lack of experience.
When it counts, because here's the deal. It doesn't matter if Atlanta comes out like gangbusters and gets out to a huge lead because their offense is that high-powered and they punch New England in the mouth immediately. But with Belichick and Brady, it doesn't go down like that. They're not going to get blown out. It's going to be tight. And you're asking 23 and 24-year-olds on a defensive side of the ball against somebody who is considered to be the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, playing like an MVP at age 39 in his 7th Super Bowl. I cannot bet against Tom Brady.
And let's not forget, by the way,
I'm picking New England to win this game 38 to 34.
It's a tight game. Like, you know, most people forecast a tight game, a high-scoring game. And now there's news that Alex Mack could be compromised in some way, his health,
critical,
which is the center for the Falcons, who's an elite center for the Falcons on a good offensive line. He might be their best player, probably is. If that's the case, when it's that close, it tips to the Patriots anyway, in a game where the Patriots are favored by a little bit.
Stephen A., you know what I love?
What?
So Max has Brady winning another chip before he falls off the cliff.
That's right.
So it's so nice of you. So he's
right.
going to go out on a high note before the big decline comes. You guys don't go.
Molly, you seem to have a problem with the definition of a cliff, as many people do.
I have a problem with it.
The whole point of a cliff is it's not gradual decline. It's that you are at an incredibly high altitude.
Yeah.
And then you fall straight down. For example, like Peyton Manning. For example, like Brett Favre. Remember, they could play till they're 50. Boom.
Here's the deal.
For example, like every great quarterback before 41 who ever lived.
Here's how we know how not to believe what you're saying. You have this incessant and insatiable need to explain the meaning of a cliff.
No one seems to get it.
No, they get it.
Do you get it yet?
Time.
You understand what it is?
I want everyone to be clear that he thinks Brady's fallen off a cliff in a year.
But a cliff means he's really high up.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Everybody understands what a cliff is. We know it all the time. Now, if you were trying to explain Brady, that would be different. But the fact that you're leaning on a definition of a cliff shows you don't even believe.
No, well, look,
you don't.
This is nothing new for me because I was making this argument about Brett Favre at the time, and everyone told me I was crazy on New York radio back in the day. Our shows were side by side.
That wasn't about.
I was making the argument. It was 100% about age.
No, it was not.
I was making the argument about Peyton Manning. Everyone told me I was crazy. Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. And then what happened? And now I'm making the argument about Tom Brady. If Tom Brady doesn't fall off the cliff before the age of 41, he will be the first quarterback in the history of the universe to avoid it.
Right.
So if he does it, it's an amazing
He could never be the first.
But the odds are against it. You can't assume that that's going to happen.
Well, we all know I'm going to have to wait for you because of my voice, so I'll wait. Let me say this. Here's the deal. Brett Favre had to be helped off the field in that NFC Championship game when he was playing for the Minnesota Vikings against the New Orleans Saints. You remember Bounty Gate and how big of a story that was because of the things that happened to Brett Favre? But no, Max Kellerman, unlike anybody on the planet Earth, is going to look at a birth certificate instead of this dude having
let's talk about what this really is. Let's talk about what this really is. Everyone acknowledges that Father Time is undefeated. I thought Bernard Hopkins fought him to a draw, but I was wrong. Father Time even got Bernard Hopkins. Like, Father Time never loses. So we all know Brady will get too old to be great one day, right? Everyone acknowledges he's not going to play till he's 100. All we're really arguing about is what is that age. So I, unlike everyone else apparently, actually looked into it. And it turns out that age is exactly 41 years old, and Brady is 40.
May I respond?
So do the math.
May I respond?
Yeah.
Max Kellerman, actually, people don't look at his age. What they look is at your performance. And they go like this, regardless of your age, this is what you're doing. I have no problem with you saying that he's going to fall over a cliff, but you're saying it's strictly because he's 40. He's going to be 40. You're not taking into account the fact that the man gets rid of the ball inside of 2 seconds. You're not counting the fact that the man looked like an MVP candidate in 12 games this year. He threw for over 4,300.
No, I am taking that into account. That's the cliff.
I'm saying to you that when you look at Tom Brady, the bottom line is that he's performing, and there is no indication whatsoever. And you're saying
that's the point. Look,
you're saying strictly because of his age, Tom Brady is going to just wake up next year.
Yes.
You're saying that
next year.
Before the end of next year.
So in other words, the Tom Brady that you're watching right now, that's about to be in his 7th Super Bowl, that just finished passing for 380 yards at the NFC Championship game. You're saying that dude is just going to show up next year. Bow!
See, you say you understand the cliff, but then everything you say indicates
we don't need the definition.
No, you do apparently, because the whole point is there's no indication that he's in decline. Yes, let me say it very slowly in case anyone's missing it. That's the point. The quarterbacks who perform great at an older age, there is no underlying indication that they will decline. And then one day they wake up and they're not great anymore. That's the idea.
I have a question for you.
I
have a question for you. If there's going to be a first, what kind of guy would it be?
Might be Brady.
Thank you.
It's possible he's the first. But if you're going to bet on Brady against all of human history, go ahead. I'll take those odds.
Welcome back to Lucky Scrub in Houston. The crowd's fired up. We're loving it here. You hear the chants. Rightfully so. Much deserving, because we are joined by a 10-time Pro Bowl wideout. And as you can see, you know a little something about the big plays in the big game. We want to welcome Larry Fitzgerald to the show, and you're joining us as a finalist for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide. Larry, thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate you guys having me.
And let me just say this, besides being a phenomenal wide receiver, one of the best in the game on the field, you're such a class act, and the work that you've done with your First Down Foundation and just paying it forward is so impressive, and what an honor. You're so deserving. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a great deal. You know, I kind of is a product of my parents. I had two wonderful parents, and they still, to this day, you know, the examples they set for me as a child are things that I still keep near and dear to my heart. And, you know, I think so much attention is paid to guys who are not doing the right thing, and not enough attention is paid to the guys. And most of the guys
You're right. We don't hear those stories.
So, last year, or this season, coming into the season, you guys had high expectations and underachieved. It kind of reminds me of the Falcons last year. Right? Atlanta had all these high expectations. They underachieve. And then the following year, they get back on top. Have you thought about that? Have you talked about that with anyone? Is the team aware of stuff like that and are thinking, okay, we were a year early with this stuff. We're ready to go next year?
Well, yeah, it was definitely a disappointing season, and a season that really, as I look back, you know, I can't pinpoint what it was that really threw us off our course, you know, but it started early. You know, in the preseason, we didn't start off very well, but the talent that we have in all positions, you know, from Patrick Peterson to Tyrann Mathieu to David Johnson, I mean, Carson Palmer, we have a lot of talented players, and we can compete with anybody in the National Football League, but we just didn't bring it this year for some reason.
Why the questions about your future? Why were you, I mean, based on what we were hearing, you were strongly contemplating retirement. Take us through that, what this season was like for you, and how did that affect your mentality, or was it just one of those situations where you said, I'm getting old, it might be time?
Well, Stephen, I mean, I was just exasperated physically, psychologically, and spiritually, you know, after not having the season that you know you're capable of having, physically just being banged up, you know, after 13 seasons in the National Football League, I was just banged up. I needed a little bit of time to kind of think about my scenario, my situation, and how I was feeling. And honestly, just sitting back and watching playoff games, you know, that fire still burns. You know, I want to be a champion. Seeing Julio making them plays in the NFC Championship game and things of that nature, you know, just really invigorated me.
Real quick, how does, when you allude to how we hear so many negative stories, but somebody like you who's done extraordinarily positive things throughout your career and just exemplified excellence on and off the field, how does a season like this affect you, particularly if a Michael Floyd gets himself in a precarious situation, if other individuals simply are not on their game off the field in terms of the focus, the dedication, and doing the right things? How does that affect somebody like you and your desire to continue to play?
I don't think it affects my desire to continue to play, but I feel like I let people down, you know, because a guy like Michael Floyd, that's like a little brother, you know. He lived with me. We're from the same place in Minnesota. You know, I took it personal, you know, and so it really bothered me. But and I'm really happy he landed on his feet.
Yeah, so
you know, God works in mysterious ways, and I really hope that he can revitalize his career and make a big impact on Sunday to help his team, because he's a good kid. But we do make mistakes. Unfortunately, we're under the spotlight, and anything that we do is going to be magnified, and that we have to be aware of that.
Larry, I want to go back to the season. Max and Stephen A. both know this. I picked you guys to win the Super Bowl. I thought this was the year you're not devoid of talent.
You had the same pick, though.
Yeah, okay. It didn't turn out.
Congratulate each other.
No. But
You got it all wrong.
Here's my thing, and I understand you're a vet, and maybe it's prisoner of the moment. We heard Big Ben contemplating retirement. Carson Palmer, you also mentioned it. What did you guys learn from this season, though, that when you do come back, you're going to be a different team?
Well, no matter how talented you are, you roll the ball on the field, you're not going to win. People are not going to lay down for you. It doesn't matter what your record was last year or the talents you bring to the table. You got to come out and you got to compete every week, and you got to bring it to. And we didn't do that enough. And I think guys learned that.
Preparation? Do you think that was?
No, preparation didn't change at all.
Okay.
I don't think it changed at all. But we weren't used to having success. That was kind of the first bit of taste of success that we've had in a long time. And I think guys just didn't handle it as well as we could have. And I think Coach touched on that. After he addressed the team after the season.
One of the things that shocked me about you guys this season, I remember last year y'all played so well, but that NFC Championship game, the Carolina Panthers really put it on y'all. The attitude was y'all going to come back and y'all going to make amends for that performance. It almost seemed to have a reverse effect, like it just demoralized the team last season. Did that play any role in the kind of season you had, the fact that y'all had lost in the NFC Championship game in the fashion that you had lost to Carolina the year before?
No, Steve, I don't think that had any lingering effect. I understand it was an embarrassing loss. We didn't play well at all, but, we had a great offseason. We did things the same way we always have done them. I honestly, it's hard to put a finger on it. We just did not perform well on any phase, and, it's disturbing.
Now, I did a radio show with Marcellus Wiley for 5 years, and we did Sports Nation together, and he used to tell a story about how the Giants called him in 2007, going into that season where they won the Super Bowl. They wanted him to be on the team, and after 10 years, he said he'd had enough. He retired, and then, of course, the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl, and he never got to win a Super Bowl. How much of the fire that still burns for you right now is because you see the talent on the team, and you're thinking to yourself, this happened to like Don Mattingly with the Yankees. He retires and they win the Super Bowl the following season. And you're that kind of 10-time Pro Bowler, a legendary figure in the franchise. How much of it is just my luck? I'm going to retire, and these dudes are going on and win a Super Bowl, and I'm going to miss it.
That's the only thing that I play for at this point. The personal accolades, anything else doesn't really matter. It pales in comparison to being a champion. And at the end of the day, as a professional athlete, that's what you strive for. That's what you work for, and that's what it's all about.
So it's the chance, the talent on this team that's keeping you around too.
Just the chance, because I know we have a lot of talent.
I look at the Atlanta Falcons getting to the Super Bowl talk because we've got to get to this. We've heard a lot of things about the New England Patriots and what they're capable of doing, particularly against the run. But we've heard more about how high-powered Atlanta's offense is. Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, and then you got these cats out of the backfield and Freeman and Coleman. When you look at this Atlanta Falcons team, how worried should the New England Patriots be based on how much we've heard about Atlanta's offense?
They should be very worried. I mean, from what the Atlanta Falcons have done, especially the last few games, they should be very concerned because Kyle Shanahan does an unbelievable job of putting his guys in formations and sets and motions that free guys up and get them in a position where they can make plays. The New England Patriots have got to be able to tackle the catch. When guys make catches on Atlanta Falcons, where they hurt you is where they break tackles and guys extend plays, and they have to be able to limit those explosive plays.
Who are you rolling with?
I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I never go against Tom. Tom's the best the game has ever seen, and he's a true joy and pleasure to be able to watch.
And Matt Ryan, you think he shows up for the big game?
Oh yeah. He's going to have 300+ yards and a couple of touchdowns. But let
me ask you this, because you said Tom Brady. If you switch their defenses, who do you like? So in other words, you're attributing it to the quarterback, but Matt Ryan might be the MVP this year.
Yes.
Has more offensive weapons.
Yes.
Has a good offensive line.
Yes.
But doesn't have the same defense.
This is true, or the experience. This is the seventh time Tom Brady's played in this game. He understands what it's all about, and that experience always comes into play.
Let me put it more succinctly. I'm thinking about the 39-year-old Tom Brady who's in the 7th Super Bowl against a few dudes on Atlanta's defense. 22, 23, 24 years old. I mean, wet behind the ears, breast smelling like Similac. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to look at it?
That definitely is. I'm thinking Tom Brady's licking his chops. The only thing that they really can do to neutralize him, Dwight Freeney, Vic Beasley, these guys have got to be able to create pressure without bringing pressure. They can't blitz Tom Brady consistently because he does an unbelievable job of picking apart defenses that blitz him.
But how are they going to do it when the man gets rid of the ball inside of 2 seconds?
It's got to come from inside. Tom loves to be able to step up into that pocket. You got to be able to get the pressure up.
That was the Giants in the Super Bowls. The way they beat them.
You got to get him off his mark.
They collapsed the pockets, the tackles, not the ends.
Yeah.
Right? Do they have the tackles to get it done?
I believe so. I mean, they're very quick, athletic guys. You know, historically the Patriots have been a little lackluster on the front line, and I think they're going to definitely have some opportunities to get to him.
Larry, I want to talk about Julio. When you see him, what makes him so special on the film?
Well, he's very intelligent. I don't think enough is talked about his intelligence. I mean, Kyle Shanahan moves him around in so many different places, comes out of the backfield. He's inside the numbers, outside the numbers. And he does a really good job of digesting what teams are trying to do to him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't force a lot of things. He makes the most of his targets. And then when he gets the ball in his hands, he's so powerful of a runner. He shuts guys off of him when they're trying to tackle him. He's just unbelievable dominant player.
What about naysayers who recognize the greatness of Julio Jones, but might look at Seattle, devoid of Earl Thomas? They may look at Green Bay. Don't get me started with that secondary. I mean, Sam Shields being gone. I mean, the rest of the dudes that was in there, Hyde and Gunther and whatever, it looked embarrassing at times this season watching Green Bay secondary. Julio Jones, the level of competition he went up against is what?
Julio doesn't make the schedule. He just beats the guys down that he plays against week in and week out. You know, he doesn't say, I want this guy, I want that guy. He just whoops on the guy who's lining up against him, and you can't discredit him for doing that.
Do you find yourself looking at Julio Jones when he has more than 100 receiving yards, they're 4-4. When he doesn't, they're 7-1. So spreading the ball around seems to be the ingredient of success for Atlanta, as opposed to targeting him excessively. That might be a mistake by Matt Ryan?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, you gotta come in and ride the hand that's been hot. I mean, you got to feed him. He's the most explosive player that's going to be on the field come Sunday. Other guys are going to get their opportunity because Patriots have historically always neutralized your best players. They're going to try to do everything they can to take him out of the game, so the other guys are going to have plenty of opportunities to make their plays.
Larry, thank you so much for the time. Congrats again on being a finalist. That's huge for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, and I'm so glad you're coming back.
Thank you.
We want to see you again.
Reverse jam brings them to their feet here in Cleveland. LeBron James and the Cavaliers once again have the best record in the Eastern Conference and are storming toward the 1 seed.
Hits it at the buzzer.
Do they have what it takes to repeat as champions?
Kyrie Irving. Come on. Hangs and hooks it in. Are you kidding me? Seriously?
This Saturday night, they head to the Garden to face the Knicks. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and on ESPN Radio. Presented by GNC.
They don't call it Hotlanta for nothing. What's up, everybody? Welcome back into First Take. We're here at Lucky's Pub in H-Town, just getting warmed up. And wait till you see who is with us right now. Atlanta is in the building. Luda's in the house. Ludacris, thank you so much for being with us. How hype are you right now?
I'm hyped
Your
because the
voice
crowd is so hyped.
Yes. Atlanta is back into it. You know what? Before we get into the game, though, you've got a lot coming up. April 14th, The Fate of the Furious back in theaters.
Yes, Fast and Furious 8. April 14th. Make sure you go check it out. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It is the gift that keeps on
Yes,
giving.
it is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. So
it keeps crushing.
100%. So, you know, we're looking to make history once again. And, I mean, the fans have been supporting this franchise for so long. And I feel like this is one of the only franchises that seems to get better every single time we do it. So that's the blessing in itself.
That's right. It's true. Because I thought 5 was off the chain.
Yeah.
And then they came back with 6. And I thought that was special. And 7, they handled their business.
Yeah.
You know, I loved it. I loved it.
Thank
I ain't gonna
you, man.
lie.
Thank you.
So that's been crushing, but can your Falcons crush?
My Falcons can crush.
And how are they going to do it?
What do you mean? Our theme this year is brotherhood. So I'm going to tell you, it is 100% a team effort. I feel like you know, the past couple of years, you know, we've gone to the playoffs and we've messed it up. And I've always been vocal about being pissed and being very upset that we play a certain way in the regular season, get to the postseason, and somehow act like, you know, we didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, what is that about? Why did that happen?
None of that matters now. You know why? Because we are here. That's what matters at this point.
Stay in the moment.
Yeah. Nah,
but speaking of brotherhood, you know, I checked with Mom and Pops, and they assured me they didn't have a seventh.
Are you
see what I'm saying? You have to check.
I think we really need to add our parents and figure out what's going on.
Seeing those pictures side by side.
No doubt about it. But I will say this, getting to the Falcons, look, these brothers are no joke. I got nothing but love for them offensively. Defensively, even though they've been better in the second half of the season, I see every Atlanta Falcons fan I run across, they talk about this offense.
Right.
Y'all don't say too much about that defense. You get quiet when it comes to your defense.
So,
why is that, Luda?
So we got the #1 offense playing the #1 defense this year, right? Any given Sunday, anything can happen, and I feel like this Sunday it's all about who wants it the most. So I feel like we're going to step it up. And then, you know, we gave y'all the fake playbook when the playbook went missing for a little while.
Right.
That was,
right.
You know, that was on purpose. We doing what we, no, don't do that. But I'm cheaters at all, but I feel like we're going to step it up, man.
I brought it up to Larry. I'm going to bring it up to T.I. I'm bringing it up to you. This secondary, I mean, these cats, I mean, whether it's your line of scrimmage with Beasley and Freeney, the ageless Freeney, whether it's you got you just look at Poole, you look at Ken O'Neal, you look at Ricardo Allen, you look at these groups. But I'm thinking about that birth certificate, 22, 23, 24 years old, against Tom Brady, 39, 7th Super Bowl. You ain't concerned about the youth on the defensive side of the ball, Atlanta?
If you look at Belichick and look at Quinn, it's youth. Versus, you know, you can say whatever you want to say. It is the experience and the youth. But I'm telling you, man, youth. These people in the crowd will let you know youth can overturn everything at any given
Usually you say one dude's 24, one's 39. You like the 24-year-old.
Absolutely.
What about Atlanta? So many really good teams through the years, one championship. What is going? How thirsty are they in Atlanta right now?
That's more of a reason why I feel like that we're gonna take it this Sunday, just because. We've been waiting for this so long. I mean, the morale and the energy in the city is beyond my own belief. Like, I can't believe, you know, just the energy is just out of this world. And I've never seen it like this, and I'm just excited.
And when I say one championship, I mean across all sports. I mean basketball, football, baseball. The Braves got one. Right. No one else got anything.
Right. But listen, there's a first time for everything, man.
A second time in this case.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds nice.
Oh, man, stop hating.
That sound. I'm not hating, man. Listen, you and I have gotten into this debate. I give you credit because you have called them out in the past when they deserve to be called out. So you have objectivity. T.I. is another matter altogether. Having said all of that, I brought this up with Larry as well. 4-4 when Julio Jones has 100+ yards receiving. 7-1 when he does it. It's one of those situations where it's like, look, this guy. If you spread the ball around, Matt Ryan has thrown 13 different touchdowns to 13 different receivers.
Right.
Do you have to spread the ball around in order to win this game?
Absolutely, and that's what I went back to saying, the teamwork and the brotherhood. You know, you got Devontae Freeman, you got we got Tevon Coleman, we got my man
Sanu.
Yeah, Sanu.
Gabriel.
Guys. So it's gonna be a team effort. So everybody's gonna step up, just like we've been doing. Our confidence is through the roof. More than I've seen in previous years, and I just honestly feel like we're going to take this thing.
You did hear that your boy Alex Mack, your center, is a little bit hobbled, and as a result, at the center spot, the protection that you're talking about for Matt Ryan might be just a touch compromised.
I'm not going to admit any of these things that you're talking about right now because I just believe in us, especially this Sunday. These are the kind of talks that are happening, you know, with the coach and the team and everybody just being very, very particular about what needs to happen in order for this game to go a certain way.
The defense has been blitzing much more in the playoffs and getting much better pressure in the playoffs than they did during the regular season. And Stephen A. made the point yesterday, you got to send the house at him early just to hit him, let him feel it. Is that what you're looking for? You want to see him hit Brady early in the game?
100%. You named it. That's exactly what I'm.
But the downside is you blitz Brady, he might pick you apart. He's better against the blitz than like anyone who ever lived. You still send him?
I don't know, man. Brady picks apart other things like football sometimes. You know, I don't know. Man. I don't know if he's
shade. I felt getting them riled up. Luda, on that quarterback note, though, I feel like Matt Ryan does not get enough love. Do you think that's accurate?
I think Matt Ryan doesn't get enough love, but I mean his reads and everything this year have been so on point that after this game, I feel like he's going to get the respect that he finally deserves.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going with my next question. In all seriousness, this city once upon a time had major fantasies because you had an electrifying talent in Michael Vick.
Yep.
You all know what happened with the Michael Vick experiment. Matt Ryan comes in here. He's always been a better pocket passer. He's always had statistically better numbers. But when there was a certain level of affection and love that he just didn't get. I know he's on the verge of getting it now. Do you feel winning the Super Bowl will get him there, or do you feel that this is something he already deserved and he had been shortchanged even by Atlanta Falcons fans up to this point?
To answer your question, I think both. And I think that as long as he goes out there and does everything that he can, he's going to be a newfound respect for him, 100%. I feel like it's happening right now, even before Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Said new sheriff in town. I like that.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you believe he shows up as his best self in the Super Bowl because that's what it could come down to against the highest scoring defense in the Patriots in the league.
How am I going to admit to anything else? Come on, man.
Well, that sounds like a maybe.
No. I'm telling you, he's definitely going to. I'm telling you.
I got a question in regards to preference. What do you prefer?
Yeah.
Atlanta ahead, but Brady having the ball late with the game on the line, needing a touchdown to win, or are you more comfortable with, y'all are down and Matt Ryan having
the ball? That's a great question.
With the game on the line.
I like us being ahead. I like the first thing. 100%.
All right.
It goes back to what you said. I feel like we got to hit them early. I think we got to be very aggressive, like as soon as this game starts, and just like mow our ways off.
Even if that means giving up points, but he's got to feel the pressure early. He's got to get hit. He's got to get knocked down.
If that has to happen, yeah. But I definitely feel like we got to go.
I'm just of the mindset when I look at Atlanta, I think in order for Atlanta to win this game, they have to have an early lead and hold on.
I agree.
The first quarter is going to be so
I listen, as much as I respect Matt Ryan and I genuinely like him, I'm scared for Atlanta if y'all got to go down the field to pull it out with the ball in Matt Ryan's hands. But
it could come down. That's why it's a good question. The game could easily come down to, in a one-possession game, who has one-score game, who has the ball last, right? If Matt Ryan has the ball last against that Patriots defense, you have confidence he gets it done.
And that's cool. We've been the underdogs. We're always the underdogs.
That's a lie.
Well, I like how y'all are talking.
No, but that's a question. Do you have confidence he gets it done? Because your answer to Stephen A. makes it sound like, no. Let us be ahead. I don't want to see us with the ball down a score.
Listen, I'm just letting my brother Stephen A. do his job to make this very interesting right now. So, yes, to answer your question, yes. We're going to be all right.
You guys have so much talent on that offense. I mean, and obviously on the defense, there's a few key guys as well. Who do you see being the X factor after the game? We're going to say, like, wow, he really stole the show.
I feel like Julio Jones is going to step it up. I mean, he always does, but I feel like this game, he knows what's on the line, and he knows that he's about to give it everything.
One of the things that I couldn't get on you because your objectivity has always been there. Again, got to give you credit for that. But I'm looking at Atlanta right now in terms of this fan base. We've looked at the ATL. You got folks migrating all over the place, coming to the ATL.
I know where you
now. You like the ATL, I think, last time I checked.
I love the ATL.
Yeah, stay focused.
But what I'm asking is this. You say you've never seen it like this before. I'd like to know why. Do you see folks from all over the place coming together rooting for Atlanta? Or do you see Atlanta literally having become that city where you got Atlantans really supporting this team?
Well, I mean, this city has been growing like faster than any city I've seen in a long time, especially with all the different things that's going on, like you named, with our sports teams, with the movie industry moving there. And there have been 100% Falcons fans that are from Atlanta that have lived there their whole lives. And I just feel like right now, because we do have some fair weather ones, I'm going to be honest. I heard you earlier talking about that, but you can't discount the ones that have been there since day one and the ones that are really stepping up right now. So I just feel like you know, yes, you have some people that have migrated and they all of a sudden they just, you know, you just became Falcon fans, but you have the majority of the city and the people that have lived there, and they are just
only reason I bring it up because I only know two that's been there from day one, you and T.I. I don't know of anybody else. I don't know of anybody else.
Well, we need to invite them on the show.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, my man Jeezy, JD, come on now.
And if the Falcons need any extra motivation, they can pop in some Luda, boys. Some of those tracks get you hype.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. And make sure you go see Fast and Furious.
The Fate of the Furious this spring. Looking forward to that. Luda, I hope you enjoy your way. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We're out here in Houston. Lucky's Pub, Day 3, Super Bowl 2 days away. We are having so much fun. Now, we all know Stephen A. is a wordsmith, but did you know he's an actor? Rick is back. He is going to be on General Hospital today and Wednesday. Stephen A., that's what I'm talking about.
That's right. Rick returns to General Hospital today, but that's after we handle hour number 2 of First Take. T.I. is coming in the house. He has no objectivity whatsoever. I'm going to deal with that. Hour number 2 of First Take up next. Come holler.
3 takes, not me. 2 takes, 2 lucky. First take, you got me.
Let's get into it, gentlemen. We add Michael Irvin, the playmaker, who Stephen A's been looking for, to the list of people who believe Tony Romo can help a contender. Irvin says that there's no doubt Romo, who turns 37 in April, has 2 or 3 more years. Tony has played in 5 games the last 2 seasons. Stephen A. Smith, does Irvin make a good argument?
I have 2 things that I need to say first. Number one, after I leave this show, I do a radio show on ESPN Radio, okay? Michael Irvin showed up at Radio Row, saw me, and literally ducked for
No, I don't believe it.
Ducked for cover.
How are you going to do Irv like that? He did not duck.
The playmaker was hiding like a typical cowboy lover. They all hide at some point.
He didn't want to go across the middle?
Nah, they didn't want to go across the middle. Now, you got some Cowboy fans that are like that. Then you have some Cowboy fans that are just so flagrantly disgusting and idiotic and get on my nerves. And this one guy in particular, this dude right here, stand up, man. Stand up right now. You see this guy? Time out. I have plans for him. Where's that police officer? I need a police officer. Could you come here, please? Come here, man. Come on over. Come on over. Could you do me a favor? I want this fan removed from this show. Could you remove him?
I can't do that.
What?
I'm a Cowboys fan too.
You just got got. Yes.
They're everywhere.
I love her. That's what you deserve. You hate her.
They're everywhere. They've infiltrated every segment of society.
They have infiltrated law enforcement.
Yeah.
Let me say this, y'all. I don't give a damn what Michael Irvin says. Tony Romo, 2 to 3 years left. He might not have 2 weeks left with that back of his. You got to be kidding me. If I'm Denver, I take the chance because I have very little to lose.
Oh,
but
so after you knock him, you're telling Denver to take him?
They have nothing to lose.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, just want to make sure.
You don't have to pay them.
Okay.
You don't have to pay them.
Just take him for fun.
Take him for fun.
For kicks.
You know, buy a few weeks for Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch and call it a day.
That makes
but
sense.
under no circumstances do you rely on the availability of a Tony Romo. You know what you need to rely on him? Rely on him to show up at Cameron Indoor Stadium to shoot jump shots at Duke. Rely on him to have picnics with his lovely wife and family. Rely on him to be seen in Jerry Jones' suite while Jerry Jones watches his grandson play sports. Rely on that, but do not rely on Tony Romo playing football.
You can rely on him to have a back injury. I mean, that will happen. Now, look.
That's right. Right.
Michael Irvin actually makes the best possible argument.
No, he doesn't.
Well, he does. It's a failing argument.
That is not right.
Now, but it's the best one you can make. He has 2 or 3 years left. Sure, he could play for 2 or 3 more years, and if you add up all the games he'd play in, it might equal a season. You know, he's really. It's not a knock against Romo. I think more of Romo than Stephen A. does. I even think Romo can be good under pressure. I think he'll be fine in the playoffs. He just can't stay healthy. So what Michael Irvin's argument is that you're getting from the shoulders up. You know, like, in other words, he has an arm, he has a brain, but you don't expect him to move around, and you've got to protect him. The problem is this: Denver doesn't have an offensive line, and they shouldn't game plan around Tony Romo anyway. I wouldn't bring him on. But let's say Denver had a really good offensive line. Let's say Denver had the best offensive line in the business. Guess who'd they be? The Cowboys. Cowboys got the best offensive line in the business, and Tony Romo still gets hurt. The Cowboys run an offense for Tony Romo, and Tony Romo still gets hurt.
Only because you lost your voice.
The Denver Broncos have a Super Bowl in the last quarter century.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about the Cowboys being anything that a Super Bowl champion.
Michael Irvin's point.
The hell with
Michael Irvin's point is if you can protect Romo and you design your offense around him, he can give you 2 or 3 seasons. My point is that's what the Cowboys did over the last several years, and he still couldn't give you more than 3 or 4 games. Why would it be different in a place with a worse offensive line whose whole offense is not constructed around
Michael Irvin? The line wasn't always what it was.
Molly,
the line's gotten better over the last few years.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin is a Super Bowl champion.
I'm aware.
And a playmaker who's thrown all of that to the side because he's interested in wearing pom-poms and being a cheerleader. Michael Irvin.
Very disrespectful, Stephen A.
It's not disrespectful. Excuse me. That is my man. I love him, but he is no better.
Put down, save that voice. He's got a 2-hour radio show.
He is no better. Michael Irvin.
For him.
Michael Irvin this week is no better than. I'm sorry, that's an insult to the cheerleaders in Houston and right here for New England. He's worse than, listen, they're not bad at all. They're absolutely wonderful. He, on the other hand, is horrible because he has thrown aside his objectivity. He is sitting here at Super Bowl week talking about the Cowboys.
Time out.
What is the relevancy?
Time out.
What is the relevancy of the Cowboys?
Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. A ton of teams need quarterbacks. I understand that Tony Romo's not that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, and I understand the back's connected.
Yes.
But don't act like this guy has nothing left in the tank, and he couldn't add value to a contender.
Excuse me.
Like if Houston
on a game-by-game basis.
You're knocking the guy and you're saying send him to Denver.
See, I love how y'all sit up there and get all emotional about a particular player, right? But then when I come back with facts, we got a problem. Tony Romo is 78-49 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Fine. Tony Romo has been a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys for 10 years. He's got 2 playoff victories.
Name 10 quarterbacks that are better than him.
Time out. If we said that about anybody else, we would disregard them. We wouldn't even be talking about them. But all because he's a Cowboy and he happens to be a nice guy, we want to ignore the fact of his postseason futility. When you can argue with me about
I want to say something about Tony Romo. Here's the problem.
Come talk to me.
And Cowboys fans, you may or may not appreciate this. This is why everyone gets it twisted about Tony Romo. They don't think he should be a backup because he has a huge contract. Actually, going into this season, the whole problem with the Cowboys is they didn't have a backup quarterback. So guess what? You found your backup, and his name is Tony Romo. He's perfect. He can't stay healthy a whole season, but if you need him to pinch hit for a couple games, he could stay healthy for that. If you need him in the playoffs because something happens to Dak, you got him. Now, in terms of his huge contract, don't worry about it. Dak doesn't get paid yet. So the total amount you're spending on the position remains the same. Don't get caught up in the identity of the starter and the bench player. In this case, it's just not who you thought it would be. But the Cowboys are set at quarterback. I don't know why they're thinking about moving him.
Can I end the segment?
Yes.
Can I end the segment with this simple question?
Sure.
If any other starting quarterback in the NFL was a starting quarterback for 10 years and had a grand total of 2 playoff victories on their resume, would we even be talking about them? We're talking about Tony Romo because he's a member of the Cowboys. There is nothing relevant about Tony Romo.
He can ball when
I don't have time to argue. Yes, it's all about the health. All right, gentlemen, I want to stay with the subject of veteran quarterbacks and what they have left in the tank. Houston likes that, Stephen A. Drew Brees, who just turned 38 years old in January, told NFL Network that he has a few years left in the NFL at least. Max has said it best. Tom Brady, who turns 40 in August, has one more Brady season, but likely less than that. Yep. Max, who retires first? Brady or Brees?
This is a hell of a question.
It is.
Because Drew Brees had a kind of shaky season at times where he didn't really look like Drew Brees at times this season, whereas Tom Brady was, no one's perfect every game, but Tom Brady played at an incredibly high level this season, like a prime Tom Brady. On the other end, and Tom Brady's in a better system. He's protected better. He has a greater coach. Not to knock Drew Brees' situation, but Brady's in the greatest situation of all time with Belichick. And yet, Brady is a year and a half older. And here's something else. Kraft came out yesterday and said he knows when Belichick's going to retire. And he's going to certainly coach this next season, and he's not going to say more than that. Well, if you're Tom Brady and you're approaching 41 and your head coach is going to leave, I think there's a good chance that Brady leaves with him. And so for that reason and the fact that Brady's a year and a half older, I'm going to say Brady retires before Brees.
First of all, Brady's not going to retire before Brees. And there's several reasons as to why that is. They could talk about Belichick retiring all he wants to. Belichick ain't trying to go anywhere. Belichick's going to be around years to come. Kraft is making news. He's imitating Jerry Jones, making news and creating headlines. That's number one. I don't think that Brady's going to go anywhere for the foreseeable future, but also Drew Brees can only do but so much. This dude is one of the prolific passers in NFL history. Unlike Tony Romo, he actually has a Super Bowl on his resume. So let's be clear. We can't question the greatness or the accomplishments, but more of a workload is put on Drew Brees than is put on Tom Brady. Yeah. He never has a defense. I saw him yesterday. Right. I saw him yesterday, gave him a big hug because I got love for him because he's a great quarterback and a great guy. But I also feel sorry for him because the one thing that Sean Payton has not been able to get him consistently is a defense. I think that the only time they had any semblance of a defense was the year they won the Super Bowl. Other than that, they said, Drew Brees is our quarterback. Here's all the money. Do everything for us. And they've thrown him to the wolves. Now, he's handled his business on the offensive end of the floor, on the offensive side of the ball. But what is this man supposed to do when you literally walk into every game every week knowing you've got to score at least 30 points in order to win? It's been unfair. It has been it's unjust. The workload that has been put on his shoulders. He's
also not a big, strong guy.
But what I'm saying is that's where your point about there's only but so much you can do come into play, because there's no reprieve, no relief for Drew Brees. There's plenty of relief for Tom Brady.
I agree with
Brees,
Stephen A.
Yeah, Brees is also not a big, strong guy. Brady is, Brees isn't. But there's something, the question is retirement. Now, when I say Brady's going to fall off a cliff, Brady goes from the greatest ever, falling off a cliff, he lands as an okay quarterback. I mean, we saw Joe Montana. It's hard to imagine Brady or Brees playing for anyone else, but we saw Joe Montana, who was very difficult to imagine playing for anyone else, play for the Chiefs. I mean, that happened. We've seen great quarterbacks, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, switch teams, and in some cases, it wasn't like Peyton Manning, who wins a Super Bowl even when he isn't good anymore. It's like, boy, this guy ain't that good anymore, and he's not on that good a team. That could happen to either guy, so the question remains, who hangs them up first? Not who ceases to be their true selves any longer, but who hangs them up first. And I will take the guy who's a year and a half older hanging them up first.
Here's all you need to know. The last 11 years, Drew Brees has thrown for a minimum of 4,300 yards per season. For the last 11 years, only one time has he completed 63% of his passes. Every other year of those 11 years has been 65% or better. This is with everyone coming at you. This is with everyone knowing you're the dude to stop. This is with everyone knowing that they don't have a defense, and still Drew Brees does what he does. I am telling you right now, he will probably retire before Tom Brady, but it will be an injustice because it is primarily what I call the Dan Marino syndrome, where you have this great quarterback and you use that as an excuse not to get a defense around this man. And this man, unlike Marino, unlike Tony Romo, has a Super Bowl championship on his resume. Let's remember that.
You think they don't want to be good defensively? They're just not good at it. They haven't put together a defensive squad. They want to be
if
good
you're Brady and Belichick, why are you separating anytime soon with his legacy?
Let me interrupt. Let me ask you a question. What kind of a statement is that?
Well, what kind of a statement are you making? You're saying because they have Drew Brees and he's good, they don't want to be good at defense?
I'm getting ready to ask you the question. That's all somebody. Think about what you're saying. Yeah. So in other words, I represent a particular city. Max Kellerman is my coach. You're not getting it done because you can't put a damn defense on the field. And you get to look me and the citizens of the city you represent in the face and go like this. You think I don't want to have a defense? Of course I want to have a defense.
What you're saying, follow the logic of your comment. You're saying you have a great – no, it's not. You're saying because you have a great quarterback, use it as an excuse not to get a defense. An excuse as though you don't want the defense.
I'm saying
of course they want it. They're not good at it.
No, the excuse –
they're not good at putting a defense on the field.
The excuse is you're not prioritizing because you have the quarterback.
You want them to make defense a priority.
Yes, because I have Drew Brees.
Right, so you play.
Because I have Drew Brees.
You play in a dome. You play in a dome with a great quarterback, and you want to make defense the priority.
Yes, because I have Drew Brees. In other words, if I have Max Kellerman, why the hell do I need another intellectual? I got Max Kellerman. Why do I need more? Well, you got that covered. Let me get something else to buffer it.
Well, because if the situation is, and maybe the Colts are a bad example because they also don't have a defense, but if the situation is that you have an Andrew Luck and you don't get him an offensive line, then the complaint will be that you're not protecting the quarterback. They're finite resources.
I'm glad you brought Andrew Luck up. Your choice for MVP.
Preseason.
When I said, hold on. When I
you have to get preseason.
I gave that up about week 10.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What I'm saying to you is, why did I tell you Andrew Luck wasn't going to win MVP? Because their defense stunk. As a result, they would lose games, and he wouldn't even be in the picture. What happened?
So, excuse me, what's more important, that they protect Andrew Luck or they get him a defense?
No. Of course it's more important that they protect him, but that's not what we were saying. But I'm talking about the other requisite weapons around him suffice. You have to go out there and get a defense because you put more on him, and then you endanger his health. That's why he's got the kidney lacerations and all of this other stuff.
Actually, and everything's interdependent, but actually, when you have a quarterback, you want to protect them with an O-line.
Of course.
There are finite resources. You can't have everything. You got to pick your poison.
You've got to sit up there and get a defense and can't put it on every shoulder.
It would be nice, but it's not. You're not using it as an excuse. You're not good at it.
You got to see Stephen A. annoyed in person. That's what it's like. That's the real deal. Hello again. Welcome back to Lucky's Pub in downtown Houston. First thing, fam fired up. They travel well. Our next guest, he knows a little something about winning a Super Bowl. You hear the chants? TJ Ward in the house looking like new money, blinked out.
Yeah, a little bit. I had to come nice.
A little something, right?
I had to play the part.
I like it. You're not playing the part. You are the part. Let's get into your squad.
Okay.
Seems like you're missing Peyton a little bit. Go from the Super Bowl to not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
What broke down with your team?
You know what? I don't think anything broke down. We just couldn't get that start we needed, to last through the season. We had some tough injuries we had to deal with, and like you said, PM gone. He's probably one of the greatest leaders to ever play this game, and missing him, was huge.
I have one question before the guys jump in here. So Peyton Manning, not a lot of people respected him in his last season. Obviously, they said he looked like a shell of himself. You guys were still able to win the Super Bowl. Do you think he deserves more credit now when you see what happened when he was gone, based on the quarterbacks that you had?
I think he deserves all the credit in the world. Whenever we need a big play, he always came through, and that's what makes him so special. Whatever the situation was throughout the game, when we needed him to make that play or that last drive, he always came through, and we got it done.
What does it feel like right now to have just won the Super Bowl the year before and be watching it now, like not even having made the playoffs? Can you describe that feeling?
I don't feel good. Watching the playoffs from home, it was tough. Especially, I feel we were capable of being in this game again. We just didn't get it done.
I look at you guys this way. Got love for y'all on the defensive side of the ball. Got a bunch of rough riders up in there. Y'all proved yourselves. Offensively, you didn't have PM. You got to go with Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch. Nobody's going to call out the youngsters because they're just young. I look at y'all as having a lot of faith in John Elway, but we heard about reports where the locker room appeared to be divided. The defense was fighting with the offense. What can you tell us about how things had regressed during the season because of y'all struggles?
I think it was a little bit over-exaggerated, the situation.
in the locker room. But, we got a team full of competitors. We got feisty guys, and all we want to do is go out there and win. And, sometimes you have little altercations, within the family, but, it's all about getting better.
I actually liked it because my whole point is this. If I got a defense that just propelled me to a championship, because clearly that was what transpired, and those boys returned, and you looking at guys on the other side of the ball and they ain't getting it done in a physically violent sport like football, I got attitude. I don't see any problem with it, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm very vocal, so sometimes emotions get the best of me myself. But, it's part of the game, man. You're on the sideline. You're playing a physical, violent game, and, you just want to win. You're putting so much energy and effort into winning, and when it doesn't come out your way, sometimes it's frustrations.
Maybe a guy like Tony Romo could help you.
Maybe.
You open
maybe.
to that?
You know what? Tony's a great player, but we got two good quarterbacks, and they're young, but they're gonna get better and progress. But I'm not a GM. I just play football.
I feel you on that, but I got a question for you as a defensive player and somebody who's like a hitman. You don't mind putting some wood on somebody. If you were playing against an opposing quarterback and you heard about his history of back problems, how would you feel about going up against that quarterback?
Oh, I'm gonna do my best to make sure that injury is still there.
Right. So y'all go ahead and want Tony Romo all y'all want to. That's all I got.
In terms of your analysis of the Super Bowl, right? The modern offense, I don't think people realize, I was one of them, how great the Denver defense was last year until it was too late, right? Because we think of these great defense, the 85 Bears or whatever, and you think of pressure on the quarterback and hitting the quarterback, but now with these 5 receiver sets, as fast as the quarterback gets the ball out, a lot of it's on the secondary. A lot of it's matching up man to man, right? In terms of that stuff, who do you think this Super Bowl favors?
I think it favors the Falcons. They have so many weapons. Playing both teams, going to that game, and I think Shanahan does a great job of finding those matchups, and that's what they did against.
And let's mention that your baby brother's playing in that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, he's a Falcon, so I got to go with him.
Even though, when you look at it, yes, the Falcons are incredible on offense, but the Patriots got the highest scoring defense in the league and a really good defense, and the same is not true in reverse. Patriots also have a good offense. Falcons defense?
Yeah, but Falcons defense creates turnovers. So if you give that offense more possessions, they're going to score. You can only hope to contain them. You're not going to stop them. That's how I feel. And they've proven it all season.
Let me be more direct. How did you guys beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game?
Being physical. We got on the line like we did everybody else. Pressed them and rushed the quarterback, hit Brady, made him flustered, and threw the timing off. That's what the Patriots. You got to throw their timing off.
Okay. Looking at this roster on the defensive side of the ball of the Atlanta Falcons, do you believe they have the capability to do what you guys did last year against Brady?
They don't have to do what we did because their offense is so high powered. I think they have a better offense, so their defense doesn't have to be as great as we were.
How do you throw Brady's timing off?
Press their receivers. Don't let Julian and those guys inside get quick routes. They like to throw the ball, get it out quick. So you get in their face, throw that timing off, but you got to get to the quarterback as well. Because Brady is sitting back there all day.
Not easy because he does get rid of it.
Exactly, right? So you just, like I said,
if you don't bring extra guys,
it's all about timing.
If you don't bring extra guys, good luck on getting the pressure. And if you do bring extra guys, good luck on him not beating your blitz.
Good luck, period.
Is it about their system, or are guys like Hogan, Edelman, Amendola, and whoever they bring in, are these guys just better than any of us realize, but they're hidden by the greatness of Brady, or is it the system?
I mean, it's a mix of both. That system, requires a certain type of player, and that's what they continually go after. And they're good players.
What type of player?
That's right. When you say
what type?
Their running backs are usually got the smaller, quick out the receiver type out the backfield, big tight ends, quicker and slot receivers, things like that. So they continue to just refurbish. And that's why they're so great.
Does that mean, as I say, that actually, obviously it's all interdependent, it's all related, but Belichick is most to credit for their success? He's the GM and the coach, or is it Brady?
They're a great team, but, Belichick has done it with whoever he has, so, you have to give him most of the credit, I feel.
So, Brady, say you're going with the Falcons. Give me a score. I need to crystallize what you're trying to say.
My score, I got 35-17.
Oh.
What?
35-17.
That's not even close.
Hold it.
You know why, though?
Hold it.
This is why. Because I feel Atlanta is going to keep the ball away from New England.
Hold on.
And if they do that,
Hold on.
they score fast.
This is football. When you score, the other team get the ball now.
Yeah, but they're going to keep the ball away from them.
You are very disrespectful.
Wait, but you just said, wait, hold on. You just said that
35-17.
What did y'all think the score of the Super Bowl was going to be last year?
Oh.
Right.
He doesn't get
Clear this up for me. On the one hand, you said they're going to keep the ball away from them. On the other hand, you said they're going to score fast. When I hear keep the ball away from them, I think you mean running game.
Oh, yeah. But no. I'm just saying whatever they do, Atlanta does. You know, they passing, running, they're going to get down that field.
Bro,
that's what I'm saying.
Bro, you just said that the Atlanta Falcons are going to double up Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. That is
Wait,
very
what
disrespectful.
is this about New England where everyone's asking, do you think Atlanta has a shot? Like,
No, I think they have a shot. I'm just talking about
Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know, but all right, let me ask you this. Last question. Tom Brady's 39.
Mm-hmm.
That secondary is young. They ain't y'all. I know what you're saying about the offense, but damn, you got to stop them too. How come Tom Brady and them didn't drop 30+?
Atlanta get after that quarterback too.
Okay.
Here's the question Stephen A. asked earlier. I think it's a very good one. Let's say it's not as you think, and it comes down to a one-possession game.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have a lead in a one-score game where Tom Brady has the ball, or you're behind in a one-score game and your guy Matt Ryan has the ball? Which one would you rather have as a Falcons fan?
Oh, man. I want the ball.
You want Matt Ryan with the ball. You have confidence in Matt Ryan with the money on the line.
Absolutely.
I like that. Confident. TJ, appreciate you. So
Thank
good
you.
to
Thank
see
you for having me.
So good to see you. Come back again.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group. Just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo! Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Maybe in Houston, but we sure got a lot of Atlanta in the building right now.
It does seem like early in the season, we saw you like maybe once.
You say what?
Like early in the season, we saw you like maybe once. Boy, we've been seeing a lot of you recently.
I think it was week 3. It was maybe week 6.
And we've been seeing a lot of you recently.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You have more of a reason to see me now. Much more of a reason to see me now. You're going to see me even more next week.
You know, T.I. been chirping a little bit too much now. And, it's interesting because, like you said, we couldn't find you, especially last year. Couldn't find you. I was looking for you last year. Oh, come on, the way I was chirping last year. I mean, the brother used to holler at me all the time. I'm sitting there looking at them. I couldn't find them when they were struggling. But now here they are at the Super Bowl. Why are you so confident this team is going to win this thing right here this Sunday? Why are you so confident?
Well, I mean, I just think that it's our year. I feel the energy in the air.
The energy?
I feel it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's energy.
It's energy.
It's energy.
Right.
I believe in energy.
Me too.
The vibe, the energy, the feel. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Right. I appreciate that, Molly. I appreciate that. The energy on the part of your defense. What's your defense going to do against Tom Brady, man?
I think the front four has to put an enormous amount of pressure on Tom. We have to come with some very, very executive blitz packages. You know, we have to come with, I think Vic Beasley going to have to get up through there, man. We're going to have to hit him a lot. He's going to have to hit him a lot and keep him on his backside in order for him to shake him up and not see down the field.
Well, let's get right to it before we dissect this thing. What final score do you have in this game by T.I.?
You just heard T.J. Ward, right? He said 35-17 Falcons.
I mean, I love his enthusiasm, but you know what I'm saying, I think that I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be a close game.
You mentioned getting pressure on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And the Falcons been blitzing much more in the playoffs than in the regular season, and it's been paying off.
Right.
But Tom Brady against the blitz, it does not get better than that. So you said you got to bring 4. Do you bring more? Do you blitz him, yes or no, in order to get that pressure, or do you just keep your fingers crossed that Beasley and these guys can get the pressure without a blitz?
I mean, I think that Beasley having the most sacks in the NFL, I think you can kind of count on him to get back there. I believe you have to let his reputation speak for him. This year he's been going off.
I will confess, I'm shocked that everybody's been talking about Beasley leading the league in sacks, 15.5. We know he's a monster. I'm shocked nobody's brought up Deion Jones enough. He's got playing your linebacker spot. He's got 165 return yards. He's got 3 interceptions. More importantly, he puts a hat on everybody that comes his way.
Right.
And he's a kind of guy that he deflects passes. He gets interceptions. He makes plays in short yardage situations that Tom Brady obviously is going to try to exploit. He could end up being the key, more so than Beasley. What do you say to that?
I mean, let's not take away from the entire organization of the Patriots, the Bill Belichick system, which Tom Brady and the rest of the players all work within. That is the best in the history of the NFL. So we can't take nothing away from that. We can't do that. So whatever you can do to break down whatever their defenses are, whatever their strengths are, whatever you can do to break that down, you use whatever weapons necessary to get that done. And that's what we're going to do.
Well, I must confess, I mean, you make very, very valid points. And listening to your commentary and trying to dissect you over the last few weeks where you have been talking a lot about your Falcons, I said, let me go back to Tip and see the kind of stuff he usually brings up. You're very big on experience. You're very big on life experience. You're very big on professional experience.
Absolutely.
But it's amazing to me how that doesn't apply to you when it comes to this Atlanta defense built with a bunch of puppies on it, 21, 22, 23-year-olds all over the place going up against Tom Brady. You've conveniently ignored that. Why?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's the energy. I feel
energy.
I feel
energy.
I feel the energy and the timing of the Falcons making it to the Super Bowl, and the team that they have together this year allows me to be confident.
They may be young, but they're ready.
Ooh. That sounded much better.
She just sounded much better.
Thank you, Matt.
Molly Wood just brought up Keith Sweat.
Yeah, see, on a serious note, though, you talked about the legacy, obviously, in New England. I mean, Boston, they have a parade nearly every year between those teams. What would this mean for Atlanta?
It's incredible. It brings...
What's your city saying now?
I mean, my city's saying go. My city's saying go. It's a green light. It's a green light in Atlanta. We all focused on Sunday, and everybody's going.
Zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody.
Zone 1 through 6 is all standing. We all rising up.
So Stephen A. asked this question earlier, but when he doesn't ask it, I got to bring it up. It's a great question, because if it comes down to a one-score game, it's the end of the game. Would you rather? This really speaks to how much confidence you have in your defense versus your quarterback. Would you rather have the ball down the score, so it's in Matt Ryan's hands, it's in your offense's hands, or would you rather be up the score and Tom Brady has the ball in his hands?
Now let me ask you this: are we talking how much time on the clock and where in the field?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
80 yards.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go 75 yards nowadays. You got to 25, right?
Okay. I would go.
You need a touchdown to win, not a field goal. Touchdown to win.
I'm gonna go with Matt Ice.
Even based on his history till now, you think he's turned a corner in terms of pressure play?
I think that, yeah, absolutely.
Does that have something to do with what's happened to him, or just the offense?
I mean, he has the most. I mean, I think he's having an MVP season. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if it's one score, it's a one-score game, and you got to drive the ball down the field to win the game. Who better in the NFL to put the ball in besides the MVP of the league? I'm gonna put the ball in Matty Ice's hand.
Well, he hasn't. Well, number one, he hasn't proven himself on this stage. This is his first time here, so I'm not sure you're right about that. Okay. But I got a more interesting question, and in all seriousness, I need your help on this because you know Atlanta. Uh-huh. You are Atlanta.
Okay.
You got a lot of people that looking at Matt Ryan, mad respect for him.
Sure.
I also get the impression that even though everybody's happy about this, they kind of wish Michael Vick was here. Do you get that impression at all?
Well, everybody,
from other folks.
Well, hey, listen, to me,
yeah,
Mike Vick has his his legacy is etched in stone in Atlanta. All of his adversities to the side,
yes,
he's still the most exciting, impactful player that came.
But is he loved?
Absolutely.
Right, that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're asking me,
right,
and anyone that I have contact with, and anyone who I watch the football, who I watch Falcons football with,
right,
we love Mike Vick as much as we love Deion Sanders.
But let me be clear. I'm not bringing up Michael Vick because the whole dogfight thing. I'm bringing up the Michael Vick that threw the playbook in the trunk. You know, when he confessed that I say, in other words, when you're thinking about Falcons fans and they're talking about his excellence on the his greatness on the football field in terms of his athletic ability, the one thing that resonates with Falcons fans that I run into that have love for him, they remember him saying, I didn't take football seriously at that time. I'm wondering, do you think people still hold that against him, or you think that's long forgotten?
I don't, because at least not Falcons fans. I believe Falcons fans remember more so when he led that team into in the Lambeau Field and beat.
Well, what about the Matt Ryan question?
Beat a young Brett Favre to go to the NFC Championship.
There are some athletes, like if John Elway never would have won a Super Bowl, the next quarterback in Denver might have still had a hard time escaping his shadow because they love him in Denver, right? Vic never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Matt Ryan might. Does he need to win a Super Bowl to be loved in that town, or is he already loved in that town?
He's already loved. He's already loved. He's already been embraced.
Yeah.
I think he's proven himself. I believe he's proven himself simply by making it here and having the type of season.
Is he winning the MVP?
Exactly. I think that in itself is justification.
I just want to be clear. So either way, we're going to see you next week?
Absolutely.
Either way?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
No, he's a man of his word. He just said it.
Wait a minute. I understand, but I'm letting y'all know right now, I got some detectives. I got some private investigators. I got people looking for T.I. next week. I'm telling y'all that right now.
I'm not hard to find.
All right. You
have my number.
You say I do.
You haven't hit me one time.
I do. You
haven't hit me one time.
Not do this run.
All right. Then you all need to check out his latest EP, Us or Else. That is available right now. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Our final segment here for the week. We're saving the best for last here with one of the best young defensive players in the game, Tyrann Mathieu in the house. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let the crowd die down. Now, Tyrann, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I actually picked your squad to win the Super Bowl this year. You had all the players, pieces,
now you're demanding an explanation.
What happened?
Well, I just thought we were inconsistent for a lot of the year. You know, we felt like we added some pieces to our team that was going to really take us to the next level, but we just didn't seem to play to our potential at all. And even when we did play well, we went up to Seattle and beat them. You know, the season was over with at that point.
I asked Larry Fitzgerald this earlier, but do you guys look at a team like the Falcons, because they were kind of like you guys 2 years ago, oh, they're going to do great, and then they didn't, and it's just everyone was a year early on the prediction. Yeah. Do you guys look at a team like that and think, okay, this upcoming year is our year?
Yeah, I mean, every year we feel like it's our year. And even last year we had a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense. So, like I said, we were just inconsistent for most of the year.
You know, I have a curious, very generic question, because a brother like you can play. Yeah. But I always hear guys sit up there and say, you know, we had the players, we were ready, we just didn't do the right things, whatever. Why don't y'all ever sit there and say, you know what, we got some scrubs, some dudes that just can't play? I mean, why are those statements never ever made? I'm not talking about naming names, but why don't y'all just say sometimes, look, damn it, they better, because we got some scrubs?
Well, I think most of the time you're talking to guys who are leaders on their team. Okay. So I don't think that's appropriate.
All right.
Plus, they don't have too many scrubs. That's why
I know they don't.
Their heads.
I know they don't. I just asked a generic question because when teams don't live up to expectations, there's always some kind of divide or whatever the case may be. When some cats, you just wake up one day and, damn, I can't play. I just can't play.
When you say consistency, you lack consistency. Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. You got stars everywhere you look. Really exceptional players. You, David Johnson, like really exceptional players. But an aging quarterback, by the way, right? Like, how do you mean inconsistency with all that on the line, going in as a Super Bowl favorite? How does that happen, and what do you mean by inconsistency?
Well, if you look at 2015, you know, when it came down to the end of the games, we made those field goals. We didn't miss them. When the teams were driving on us and we were up by 4 points, we created a turnover to end the game.
Just execution?
Right, absolutely. So we got a lot to work on, and I know we'll add the right pieces once again this offseason, and hopefully we could keep some of those guys that's going to test free agency.
How disappointing was this season when you take into account the fact that the LA Rams are in your division? We know they're sorry. And then obviously the San Francisco 49ers were in your division. They give a new meaning to sorry. So all you had to worry about was the Seattle Seahawks, who were not themselves. Does that elevate the level of disappointment when you consider what was laid out for y'all?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, a couple of years ago, we had one of the toughest divisions in football. And so we definitely feel like we dropped the ball this year. Our only competition was Seattle. And we just really let those guys get a jump start on us, and we just couldn't catch up.
Before we jump to the Super Bowl real quick, LSU, I just got to ask. Coach O is not like the traditional hire down there, right? Can he slow up Saban?
I believe so. You know, he's a player's coach. I know he's going to create a great culture around there, and you know, he's from the Bayou, so I know he knows what it means to be a Tiger.
Let's get into this game. Who are you rolling with? Patriots or Falcons?
I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Okay. How come you think they'll be able to get it done?
Say that one time.
How come you think they'll be able to get it done?
Well, I just think their offense is rolling right now. We played those guys early in the season. We tried to take Julio out the game, which I thought Pat did a great job, but they have a bunch of other weapons that could beat you. So I think it's going to be a tough challenge for the Patriots.
Talk to me about Atlanta's secondary. I keep bringing that up because that's the only reason that I didn't pick them. I think Atlanta's offense is high-powered. I think they're going to put up 30-plus. My problem is it's a bunch of youngsters that's going up against Brady. That didn't apply to you because
he's 24, you know.
I understand that, but how many honey badgers are there?
Only one.
That's why he's here. That's why he's on first take. Those other dudes ain't. The point is that I'm looking at a 24, 23, 22, 26-year-old going up against Tom Brady. He's in the 7th Super Bowl. They're in there first. What kind of impact do you think that'll have?
Well, I think it's going to be tough on that young secondary for sure. But I'm sure those guys have a bunch of veteran leaders on their team that's going to keep those guys composed. And all you need to do is make one play. You don't need to make all of them.
One play against Brady, that's all it's going to take?
Yeah.
Meantime, and this is...
He can't even say that with a straight face.
I know
Stop lying.
That's why I asked him.
You can get beaten a lot in a high-scoring game, especially, but you take that ball away. One pick six, right, changes the whole thing.
One pick six.
Meantime, how do you, like, on the one hand, you have the Falcons' incredible offense against the Patriots' very good defense. On the other hand, you have the Patriots' excellent offense against the Falcons' not as much on defense. They've been blitzing a lot. Brady's really good against that. If you can't get pressure without the blitz, you're dead meat against Brady. How does the defense cope with the Patriots' offense?
Well, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I would love to see him win the Super Bowl. I just really want to see Atlanta win more. You know, I worked out with Julio Jones last offseason. He's a great guy. He's having a terrific season once again. And I want to see guys like that win a championship.
How hard is he to cover a guy like that?
Well, I never had to cover him.
No, I know, but I mean, in terms of, when you're practicing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's super big. He's super fast. He's one of those smartest guys on the field. He understands how to sit down in his own coverage, and he could beat you up top. It doesn't matter if you put 2 or 3 guys on him.
Is Atlanta going to have to be heavily targeting him, or is it going to be one of those situations where Taylor Gabriel, or Mohamed Sanu, or Coleman, or Freeman, they're going to have to step up and help out? Or how do you see this unfold?
Well, you know, we played Atlanta early in the season, and it seemed like their offense did better when Julio wasn't on the field. So I think it's going to be a challenge.
I've asked this, he started out by asking this question, but once again, Stephen A., you've left this one for me. If you had the choice, from the Falcons' point of view, since you're picking them, do you want the ball in the offense's hand down a score, or do you want Brady with the ball in his hand and you're up a score, game's on the line, you start at the 25, you need a touchdown, right? What would you rather?
I wouldn't want Brady with the ball, that's for sure.
So you'd rather be losing with a chance to win and the ball in your offense's hand than leave it up to Brady even if you're winning?
Yes, we've seen Brady do that too many times.
One of the things I focused on is looking at those guys out of the backfield, catching passes out of the backfield. We've talked about Atlanta. We haven't even mentioned Deion Lewis for the New England Patriots and the kind of damage he can do. What do you say to that?
I mean, he's exceptional. You talk about Atlanta, 2 running backs, and you talk about the Patriots, Deion Lewis and James White. I mean, those guys can definitely create mismatches on the football field, and I know Brady and Matt Ryan are looking forward to those.
Tyron, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here with us.
A lot of fun watching you play.
Have fun out here. That does it for us here in Houston. Thank you so much to Lucky's Pub. Thank you to our First Take fam who came out here, all the guests. It has been an incredible week. We can't wait for the Super Bowl. We'll see you Monday from Bristol. We'll react to all of it.
Saturday night, LeBron James and the Cavaliers head to the Garden.
Hits it at the buzzer.
To face Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and on ESPN Radio. Presented by GNC.